Hello. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. We are back for another episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9, and this is the season finale. So this is episode um, 17. And I did not get the name of the episode. It'll be in the description per usual. But I didn't want to waste any time. I just want to get into the review. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, before we do that, let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, I have not been filming as far as like being on screen for a while. Truthfully, for those who've been on my channel, y'all already know I've had a lot going on. And yeah, so I'm taking time off from kind of, doing the whole gamut of needing to film, edit. Honestly, the way I do when I just do the recording and then just put the visuals out there, it's a lot easier for me to edit versus the latter. I am hoping to get back into my regular routine. Really dependent on if I could get into my regular life routine. So that's just kind of me being truthful here. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. Like, for those who know, I've been looking for I'm in the middle of purchasing my first place, and then also on top of that, life has been lifing here and there, so there's that. But anyways, I don't want to waste your time. That's not why we're here. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So let's get into the review. So we start off, and also side note, also this may not be in complete order. So the first thing I have, and because I was kind of late taking notes, is we have Karen. She is talking to Ray about Stacy's event, saying that she's not gonna participate, but she's gonna go and support because she is a charitable person. And then also on top of that, she mentions how she wants to start a new thing where she does an adoption thing herself. And child, if you've seen Karen over the years, I am so convinced that Karen does not have an original idea. Like, I feel like every season she's doing something that someone else has already done, but she remixes it and makes it her own. And then also too, is it just me, or is everything that Karen has been saying maybe the past 2 or 3 episodes is aging horribly, because we saw that body camera footage, and she is actually, the mask that I feel like she's been projecting for years on camera for this show is falling, and we actually kind of saw her true colors this episode, in my personal. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just kind of what I'm seeing. Because even when she was making these digs towards Stacy, it felt very unnecessary. It felt forced. It's not really believable, because she's saying that Stacy hasn't been supporting her, and we know that's not true. We saw the season. She actually has been. She just did not agree with the timing of Karen doing what she was doing, because it was kind of suspicious timing. But anyway, so we go from there. She's talking to Ray about that. And then Wendy contacts Karen. Hey, Wendy. And she mentions, hey. So she tells Karen, FaceTime her, and tells her everything's going on with her season 2 of the Dr. Wendy show, and mentions that she's been invited to the White House to interview Karine Jean-Pierre. And she's like the first Black, actually openly queer secretary. Secretary. So that is a huge deal. Last episode, I kind of didn't get it quite down. But yes, her being the first White House press secretary, that is a huge deal. And I know I've seen her before. I just didn't know for sure. And I couldn't figure out her name. But yeah, that is what she basically tells Karen. And then she also is like, I want you to come as well. And Karen is ecstatic and very happy, and she just starts screaming. And this seems like this is going to be a great, beautiful thing, but we know this is not going to stay that way, because of what Stacy has told us last episode. We know it's going to come back out again. So there's that. Next, we have Stacy, and she's with her friend AJ. I think it was AJ or RJ. I do not remember. I'm sorry. I did a horrible job this time around with the notes, but I know who that guy is because I've seen him before because he used to have a salon here in Chicago. I don't know if that salon's still a thing or not, but he's from the Chi. And this is also where we find out that Stacy spent some time here in the Chi. She used to live here. I believe it's when she was still going to college or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but she used to live here. And so that's how they met. And that's her. And we find out this is her BFF. And they're just catching up. And he is all truth, no filter, giving it to her straight, no chaser, kind of calling her out. And it's kind of a little bit of a prequel of what we might expect during the reunion. Because, yo, did y'all see that reunion preview? After seeing the reunion preview, I think of a couple of these housewives for this particular franchise differently, Stacy included, because I don't know if it was just me. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I felt like he was like, yeah, you're acting different. And I'm like, ooh, is she acting? That's what came in my head. And then the TJ subject came up. He's like, girl, bye, no. This ain't your man. This is not your type. And then he just calls out the obvious, like, he is corny. He is not your type. I don't know what you're doing here. And so this was kind of part of the problems. Like, what is this? And so then TJ, of course, in a timely fashion, calls Stacy. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not really with this guy. And yeah, it was interesting, but someone had to say it. Besides, I mean, everyone's been saying it. The whole cast has been saying it, but I'm glad someone who actually knows her said it too. But it may all be for nothing because I'm curious what. Okay, we're not going to get into the reunion preview, but if those who've seen the reunion preview, you are understanding why I'm questioning some of this stuff. But anyway, that's it for this scene. Next, we have Ashley, and she is with her family. And we find out from Ashley that she's actually finally came up with a divorce agreement with Michael, and she's finally filing for divorce. So, yay. I'm hoping come the reunion, she's actually done. Like, I'm hoping the reunion is, as a reunion, she's fully divorced. Because, yeah, I'm kind of sick of this. I ain't gonna hold you. And I don't really love Ashley, and I don't think this cast can really do another cast shakeup too much. But I'm just curious how things are going to land, especially with the Karen situation. If Ashley is going to live to fight another day after this season yet again. And I will say this, Ashley does seem, what I'm gathering from Ashley, I said Ashley, child, Ashley, is that outside of her and Michael, maybe I feel like Ashley's kind of boring. And also, too, I feel like her and Michael was the whole entire story, and now that story's wrapped up. Is there a reason for her? But at the same time, I kind of feel like Ashley has been kind of filtering herself a lot because it sounds like Michael really didn't want certain things out there, even though he was okay with certain things being out there. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that. But anyway, I kind of am saying this just because it really was not much that happened in this scene, other than the fact that she stated that and she was celebrating her Uncle Lump's wife's like birthday, and then Josh called, and then Josh, which was kind of awkward because the kids were there, and then she was like, "Yeah, this is like my work husband." Or sorry, like my coworker, that's what she said. And I know why she said it, just because like it is a little soon for like her family, like it's a little soon for her kids to know who that is. But at the same time, before he was on the phone, she was really talking about him very openly. So child, the math wasn't mathing. But anyway, that's Ashley in a nutshell. And this was kind of like her little scene to wrap her story up. Oh, one more thing. Side note. So Ashley, during her scene with her family, she tried to sing that stupid song, Healing and Thriving, and the way her family was like, girl, hang it up. And she was like, okay, okay, okay. Child, when your family's calling you out saying, girl, you can't sing, just let it go, let that dream go. I think she needs to let that dream go. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I cackled when they did that, and I almost forgot to add that in. But yeah. Next, we had Giselle, and this was a really, really cute and sweet scene because her and her daughters are getting the Christmas tree together and going to get ready to pick it and then put it in the yard. And at this point, they're just reminiscing about her dad, and Giselle fights getting emotional. And honestly, if Giselle was a nicer person, I feel like a lot of us would feel a lot more bad for Giselle than we do, because she went through a lot. She lost her dad. She's still fighting over the will. And then also, she's an empty nester like that. She went from having all three kids to just two, to them they're gone because her two youngest are twins. So it's like, and it was like back to back to back. So, and I think her, it's very clear to me. It's not even me thinking. I know. I could tell on the show her daughters are her world. Her family is her world. And but yeah, they pretty much wrap things up here with that situation. It was a cute thing overall. By the way, did any of y'all watch what happens live? I didn't, but I saw that the Green Eye Bandits were reunited because we know that Robin is on Traders. And again, I'm just wondering how next season is going to look because Karen's gone. Also, too, I kind of feel like after the end of this episode, especially, everything that Robin has been saying about Karen, she's fully vindicated. I'm just saying. And I now can understand why Robin was always on Karen's neck and vice versa. They're on each other's neck. But I can definitely tell why Robin was like that. And when we get into it, we'll get into it and I'll explain. But anyway. So then next we have the cute scene where Wendy and her family, they are at the White House and they do like this really, really cool tour. And then right before the interview that she has with Karen St. Pierre for her show. And we actually do get to see a little bit of her show as she's like filming it, like in this like scene. Karen does get to meet Wendy and be in the White House and actually get to watch the show kind of firsthand as she's filming it. So that was kind of cool. And Karen's just said, she's really proud of her. She said she's been in the White House before, but she's never been this part of the White House. So, yeah, it's a big deal. And, also to kind of wrap up this scene, we have Eddie in the confessional with Wendy, and they're just talking about how proud they are, of each other. And then it was cute. It was very short and sweet, but we already know what this is. These are a lot of the scenes just wrapping the lady's story up, because the main event of this is going to be Stacy's event, which is dog show, and we're getting into that now. So we see Stacy, she's getting ready for this event, and this wig, Stacy. I don't like the wig. I don't like it. I don't know. I don't know. I have questions on it. Yeah, so sorry about that. I had to go get my food real quick. But yeah, I do not love that wig. I don't know if it just seemed stiff or I don't know. There's just something with it. Maybe it was the wig with the outfit. I don't know. Or just the part in the middle. I just wasn't a fan of the wig. I'll just say that. And then I thought, I know I'm skipping ahead, but Mia, I thought we were past this blonde. I'm going to need you to let this blonde thing go, because you are not meant to be a blonde. I hate to call a thing a thing, but you're not meant to be a blonde. Not that color blonde. Actually, no. I can't see you being any blonde. that black hair, like that is your look. It works well. Actually, look, it works amazing on you. But blonde, baby girl, it just isn't it. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Okay, yeah, Wendy's. So, not Wendy, but Stacy's event. So she's getting everything ready to go, and then TJ and AJ or RJ, forgot his name exactly, but anyway, they have an interesting exchange. Um, yeah, I did not like that. TJ, you need to just like push back. Like you just got here, like in like her life. Like it was just kind of weird that I felt like he was trying to step to her best friend. And at the end of the day, the best friend is always going to be there. And is it just me? But I'm not a fan of and I am someone that does have girlfriends as best friends. I do also have a couple guy friends as best friends. If any of like my significant others or any partner that I was to ever have, if they were to step to my best friend like that, I would have to check them. I would need to check them. Like, absolutely not. You don't do that. Well, this is like what we're not going to do. But anyway, so that was kind of awkward. And then from there, all the ladies end up showing up one by one while Stacy and Karen go to talk. And that talk was a heated talk. It got it got messy immediately. So Karen is trying to say how she's hurt by things, and really Stacy is calling her out on her BS because at the end of the day, what Karen is saying, it is complete BS. And Karen goes into her old antics of how she basically used to treat Robin to like Stacy. But the difference is Stacy is a little bit more quick-witted when it comes to the words. She's a little bit more better when it comes to the wordsmith of it all. So it wasn't working the way I thought. The way I think Karen thought that was going to work, it didn't work. Stacy had an answer for everything she had to say. And I was like, wow. I was very pleasantly surprised seeing this. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then as they're going back and forth, because Karen's still staying on this hill that Stacy has never supported her, and she's the one who brought her to this group. And it's like, Karen, you are taking this Grand Dame thing way too seriously per usual. Normally we find it funny, but it's not funny anymore. Stacy was going to be on this show. Let's just be clear. She has a pedigree to be on this show. I think the producers might have thought she was still going to be married, and then she would have been like literally like a housewife, but she definitely was still going to be on this show. It didn't matter I'm sure Karen put in a good word for her, but at the end of the day, if the producers want her on the show, they want her on the show. And so right here and there, this is where they kind of break the fourth wall. We find out that Stacey and Karen didn't really know each other for real. For real. They are learning each other through this show. So it changes the argument by like a lot. Like it's not even a little bit. It changes the argument a lot because, we're always thinking that these housewives know each other. And in this case, because they had mutuals, you thought they did, but no, they don't really know each other like that. So Stacey really owes no loyalty to Karen. And at the end of the day, there were scenes, and we saw this where Stacey had Karen's back. But Karen is expecting a yes ma'am, a yes man or a yes woman. And she's like, I'm just not going to be that for you. I'm going to call you out on the BS every single time. That's just not what I'm going to do. You're not beyond an approach. And Karen's like, well, for now, you're on a friendship timeout. And Stacey's like, okay, cool, whatever. Like she did not really care. And then they're still not really done. And Giselle comes and interrupts them. And Giselle has this ridiculous looking dress on. And I think this was a quadruple shade effect because Wendy says she liked this dress that she was wearing, that Giselle ended up wearing. And then Stacey also said she really liked the dress as well. That dress was hideous. I think they were both being funny and knew how shady that Giselle is. And so Giselle, being shady, brought the dress because Stacey was like, no one should buy this dress. I want this dress. So she brought the dress. So because she didn't want Wendy to wear the dress because it really wasn't that cute of a dress. And I don't think Wendy really liked that dress for real. And then Giselle ends up wearing the dress. And then we find out, side note, I did watch a clip from Watch What Happens Live. We found out that Giselle gave the dress to Wendy afterwards because Wendy claims she really liked that dress, but I don't believe it. I just don't. Y'all can go back and roll the tapes and see what this dress looked like. It is not that cute of a dress. I'm sorry. Or maybe I'm just not really into the over princessy look. Um, but I know, I mean, I don't know. Y'all could be the deciding factor for that. But anyway, Giselle interrupts them two talking. And it's just like, hey, let's go ahead and, let's get which worked because good thing, because they were just going to still argue. But then that's when we find out all that tidbit about the dress. Oh, side note, in the confessional, Stacey is shading the crap out of her about that dress because I think Stacey played the okie doke on Giselle, and Stacey didn't like that dress, did not really like that dress because it's not a cute dress. But anyway, so then we then see Kay, and she's talking to me and some of the girls. And by the way, all the women are there at this event. Also, anyone who watches WWE, particularly WWE NXT, I saw Trick Williams and Lash Legends. I didn't know that they were from the DMV area. I was like, okay. I was like, yes. They're both black pro wrestlers, and I'm like, oh, and they're a couple. So I was just like, okay, I see the cameo. But anyway, so everyone's there, including Jazzy. Jazzy didn't really say much. She definitely was giving true friend of this episode. And then, thank God, Jacqueline didn't say too much either. She still was playing or being, Mia's defendant or Mia's representative. But other than that, she wasn't as annoying as she has been. So, but at this point, we find out from Kay that her and Greg are taking a time out. They're, I guess, not together for now. And also, when they wrote the clips at the end of the season, kind of saying where they're at, apparently they moved in together into that new house, and then Kay moved out quickly after that. So I don't know what Kay is not seeing because she's in it. Now, this relationship is to me, it just seems like it's a no-go, but that's kind of all that was said when it came to Kay. And also, it was very clear to me that Kay was definitely a last-minute full-time add-on because they didn't really have her having a personal scene of like her final deal. So anyway. And then Ashley, she shows up and child, why does Ashley look like Candace? Ashley is literally wearing something that Candace wore, I think, 2 seasons ago. Ashley, girl, and you wearing that bob? I don't remember you wearing bobs before Candace. Child. Candace be on the season without her being on the season. But anyway, it's giving single white female. But as we see Ashley is shading Stacey about what, the wig and everything, which again, I agree, the wig is not a cute wig, but Ashley, you're the wrong person to shade anyone. Because your fashions don't be fashioning, it be tacky at all times. And honestly, for me, this is probably the first look that Stacey has had all season that's been a miss. Everything else for me, for the most part, has been a hit. So I'm gonna need you to scoop back. And also Karen tried to shade Stacey about her fashion too when they were in the middle of the argument. And again, this is the first time this season finale in the wig is probably the first time where Stacey was a miss. It's just, you know what it is? I think I figured it out. It's the color of her dress compared to her hair. I don't think the blonde with the darker colors work for me. And yeah, I think what would have made it look better, because I guess because to me is I actually like the wig. I just don't love the wig. And I don't like the dress with the wig, so it makes me really not like the wig. And if she was to just have this wig with a warmer color dress, it would maybe work. And then maybe go a little bit more modest with the makeup, so that means you can't do the red lipstick. Because, yeah. Anyway, I know I'm going into it, but like, child, I just can't help myself. Anyway. And so Ashley then goes off and tells Giselle everything that Stacy, because at this point Stacy is going off to get ready for this show because a fashion show is about to happen, so she needs to leave and like get that together. So Ashley does go right away and tell Giselle everything that Stacy said to her about the what Karen allegedly said about Mia and Wendy to Stacy. And I'm only saying alleged because we don't know for sure, but I do believe Stacy. I 1,000% believe Stacy, and Giselle does too. As this is being said, Giselle does too. Giselle actually confirms it. She's like, you know what? I've been trying to tell Wendy for seasons and seasons that Karen don't really see it for you. And because it came from me, she didn't believe me. And I kind of believe it. I'll be honest. Yeah. And this right here, this whole conversation about this, the reason why I believe Giselle in this manner, and normally I wouldn't believe Giselle, but I actually do believe Giselle at this point. I think the whole entire time when you've watched this show, and Giselle's been okay with how things have been going for the most part when it comes to this overall show. But Giselle and Karen have something in common. But we didn't know this as an audience. Karen's also a mean girl. Like, they're both mean girls. That's why they get along. The problem is, Karen seems like she's a mean girl behind the scenes, whereas, at least with Giselle, what you see is what you get. And Giselle is okay with that approach. It doesn't bother her that Karen plays this role, and and I think in Giselle's case, she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna be the villain. I'm okay with that. But I think Robin, when Robin was on the show, had a problem with the fakery of it all, because us Aries, we cannot stand fake stuff. We can't do it, which is also the same reason why you have Stacy getting on her neck. It is totally an Aries thing. Like, if I've been on this show for seasons after seasons, and this lady who literally does the same mean girl behavior antics behind the scenes, which to some degrees is actually worse than doing it in front of everyone's face, because you're almost doing some self-sabotage stuff or sabotage stuff behind people's back, but then on the camera as a fan favorite and everyone thinks she's just such a lovely, nice person, I would feel away as well. And after everything and how this particular last episode panned out, I feel like that's what's been going on the whole entire time, to the point where I almost think that Giselle's issues with Wendy wasn't really about the argument that happened where Wendy got her together all the way. I think it was also the fact that she's like, how are you kissing this lady's behind who does not like you? At least what you see with me is what you get. I think that's part of it too. It seems like it's just like some show politics, behind the scenes show politics, that we are now kind of being privy to as an audience in our face now. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what I'm seeing. But I got a lot more of that seeing than probably most people did. But that's just me, and maybe that's just because I've watched the show for some time, and I'm like, yeah, it's all making sense now. But I guess I just see Giselle differently now, because I see Karen differently now, because now I realize they are literally the same person. It's just one is fake about it and one is to your face about it. That's what I just got out of this. I'll be honest. Anyway. And Giselle, at this point, she cannot help herself. So as soon as she finds Stacy, she runs and tells it. She's like in front of everyone. And Giselle, being even more messy, she pretends, Mia and Wendy are not standing right there and talk about them as if they're not there. But I don't think in this time it was Giselle being mean and like doing the cold shoulder thing, as far as like she's done in the past where she's talked about Wendy as if she wasn't there. It wasn't that. It wasn't given that. It was more or less of trying to get to the bottom of this and she wants the whole entire class to know. That's really what it was. And Mia is like, she's actually taken it back, like, wait, what is going on? And Wendy the whole entire time was like, wait, what? What? And, Stacy's like, no. Karen, this whole entire time, has been talking crap about both of you. She says, Mia, you're not Potomac. And then she says that you, Wendy, are a self-absorbed person. I shouldn't get close to either of you. And then Stacy, I wish we would have got more of it. Stacy also drops some tea. She's like, yeah, Karen's been talking about all of y'all. And she goes to her restaurant and does it there. And I think it's called like Heidi Ho or whatever like that. I forgot what it's called. But the episode, the restaurant she was at the first episode with Giselle. She goes to that restaurant all the time. And what gets me with Wendy is she's like, in her confessional, she's like, I don't think she said it. I know Karen said it. She believes it all. She's like, and really it just gets me because after all these years of me trying to be friends with you, trying to be cool with you, and you're still acting a way towards me, you still see me as a certain way, that's really messed up. And I guess I want to, hopefully we get to the bottom of this come the reunion. What is it with Wendy? Why does she, and this is, I think, the reason why a lot of people have issues with Wendy on the show is because you could tell she really genuinely wants to be friends with all these ladies. But then when someone gives you the energy that they don't mess with you, why don't you just lean into it and just don't mess with them back versus, sucking up to them? And maybe she just saw the approach that Candace did that and it didn't, and she just didn't want that kind of conflict. I don't know. Maybe she might be that type of person who's that anti-confrontational that she just doesn't really want to go there if she doesn't have to. And also, too, I think we need to keep in mind when we talk about Wendy and how she reacts to things like that, she had a major big girl job at Johns Hopkins University as a professor for pretty much most of her time on the show, minus this season. So in her case, I feel like she had a lot to lose and she couldn't lose her ish the way she really wants to, because that could cost her her job as a professor. So I think that's part of it. But I don't know. I want to know y'all thoughts on what you think about that, because I've always just been wondering, why does Wendy do that? And I know it drives. If it's driving me nuts, I know it drives all the rest of the ladies nuts, and clearly it drove Giselle nuts too. So maybe that's what it was too. Who knows? Okay, so now we take a break from the mess. And by the way, Karen denied all of it, but she was going to do that because accountability. And Karen, are you new? Are you new? Anyway, so then the ladies, the fashion show gets started, and it kind of was a mess. It was literally an ish show. It didn't start off as an ish show, but it did start off kind of bumpy because I forgot what word it was. Oh, philanthropy. Child, I said it the wrong way, just like Stacey. The difference is, though, I'm not a TV host, so I can enunciate things incorrectly if I need to. She is. And Giselle and her shadiness is like, no wonder she got fired. I don't think she got fired though from QVC, but that's just neither here nor there. Because as this is happening, Giselle's not part of the fashion show, so Giselle is there with Cal, and she's sitting with Karen, while everyone else is in the fashion show with the dogs. And all the dogs, for the most part, seem well behaved, minus Ashley's dog. But Child, I'm not that surprised because the way Ashley's just let her kids run around, I'm not that surprised. But anyway. So they're doing the fashion show. After the bumpy start, it does seem like things are going smoothly. And then Wendy is with her dog, and Eddie finds out that they adopted that dog as she's modeling the dog. And Eddie's like, wait, what? And she's like, I just caught, and then the confessional, them two are in the confessional together. She's like, yeah, I just got caught up in the moment. Wendy this season was like, oh, I loved Wendy this season. That's just me. I feel like she was a lot more looser this season because of her no longer being part of the university. But anyway, so And maybe she's partaking a little bit more with the Happy Eddie also. Who knows? But anyway, so then out of nowhere, once Stacy's the last one to model, of course, because it's her modeling show. And then out of nowhere, there's just smoke and fog that comes out, which spooks all the dogs to the point where they all basically ished themselves. Y'all can do the math and what it was. And there's this poop, feces everywhere. It's just nasty. Nasty. To the point where everyone like starts screaming. And by the way, all of them are like in like gowns. Like they're in ball gowns. Like they're in like formal wear. And they're running around because the dogs have all pooped everywhere. And then Stacy looks clueless, like, why would this happen? Why would this happen? Oh my gosh. And Karen is so disgusted that she goes directly to like the trash can, just immediately starts puking because it's just everywhere. I mean, it was gross. I ain't gonna hold you. I probably would have been grossed out too because it was a unison, like all the dogs did it at the same time. So I can imagine how disgusting that was. And then everyone is just trying to figure out how or why that happened. And I think Giselle blames TJ, and because TJ was a co-MC for this event. And Stacy's like, she doesn't know how this happened, but then child, Stacy, girl, because one of the things, so the producers go back and show that the event planner mentioned that there's going to be some confetti and stuff at the end, and she didn't say anything about it. No surprises at the end should be happening when you have pets. Hello, that's going to spook them. So it wasn't confetti, it was smoke instead. But either way, that's a horrible idea. So it's like, girl, Stacy, you kind of lied there. We kind of caught you in a little bit of a lie. Oh, side note, I'm sorry, this episode was funny to me. This was actually a decent season finale. But the other thing that happened before basically everything wrapped up is because this is kind of the end of the episode for the most part. They do the whole thing where they kind of show what everyone has going on. And then they do show that Karen was found guilty, and you know, her and they go to like her going to court and all that. So anyway, but back to when Stacy and Karen were arguing, and Karen's like, I need to sip. And then Stacy's like, what are you sipping on? Stacy! I want to see more of an activate Stacy. And look, I have a feeling come this reunion, we're going to see it. But anyway, that was overall the end of the episode. It did end up in a ish show. But there it is. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. And I will see you at the reunion, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it probably is going to be a 3-part reunion. It really only should be 2. But anyway, that does conclude the video. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.